Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, allow me to share a crucial perspective with you. Even before your feet touch the ground each morning, before you begin scrolling mindlessly through your smartphone, and even before you begin to dwell on the aspects of your job that you may find dissatisfying or the difficult situations you might be facing, it is absolutely essential that you consciously prepare your mind for the day ahead. Every single morning, before you even get out of bed and before the world has the opportunity to impose its demands and expectations upon you, you possess the remarkable and invaluable power to proactively shape the trajectory and overall experience of your entire day. This is a power that resides within you, waiting to be harnessed and utilized to create a more positive and fulfilling existence. The key to unlocking this power lies in a simple yet profoundly effective practice. This practice involves consciously and intentionally speaking life over yourself. That is absolutely correct. You must engage in direct and purposeful communication with yourself. This may initially sound unconventional or perhaps even strange to some, but I assure you that the manner in which you communicate with yourself, the specific words and phrases you choose to employ, can have a dramatic and far-reaching impact on your life. The words you use when speaking to yourself can either set you firmly on a path toward achieving success and fulfilling your potential, or, conversely, they can inadvertently drag you down into a debilitating and counterproductive pit of negativity, self-doubt, and limiting beliefs. We currently inhabit a world that relentlessly bombards us with a constant stream of messages, opinions, and expectations from countless sources. From the very moment we awaken each day, we are immediately confronted with a barrage of news headlines, often filled with negativity and conflict. The carefully curated and often unrealistic expectations presented on social media platforms, and the seemingly endless demands placed upon us by our employers, our families, and society as a whole. All of this external noise and these incessant demands can have a significant and detrimental impact on how we feel about ourselves, our capabilities, and our overall worth. These external forces can negatively influence how we choose to present ourselves to the world and how effectively we are able to pursue our goals and aspirations. However, if you proactively choose to begin your morning with the conscious and deliberate use of the right words of affirmation, encouragement, and self-belief, and if you consistently remind yourself of your inherent worth, your unique talents, and your true identity, then you can effectively create a powerful shield that will help you to block out the overwhelming chaos and negativity that is inevitably coming your way throughout the day. In essence, you must make a conscious effort to purposefully and intentionally set your mind in the right direction before anything or anyone else has the chance to do it for you. This is the fundamental principle and the immense power of self-talk. Now, let me be absolutely clear about what I am advocating here. I am not suggesting that you should simply engage in mindlessly repeating empty affirmations like a robotic automaton, devoid of genuine feeling or understanding. Instead, I am emphasizing the critical importance of truly and deeply understanding and believing in the profound meaning and significance of the specific words you are choosing to say to yourself. You must consciously and deliberately speak life directly into your spirit, nourishing it with positivity, hope, and unwavering self-belief. This inherently involves telling yourself things such as, I am capable of achieving my goals. I am worthy of happiness and success. I possess everything that I need within myself to make today a truly good and productive day. Because, if you do not proactively and intentionally speak life into yourself, who else will? If you passively wait around for someone else to grant you permission to feel good about yourself or to instill within you a belief in your own inherent potential and capabilities, you might find yourself waiting for a very long and ultimately disappointing time. However, when you consciously and deliberately choose to speak to yourself with unwavering intention, when you actively take control of your own thoughts and the words you use to express those thoughts, you will begin to cultivate a deep and unshakable belief in the extraordinary power that you possess to positively influence and ultimately transform your own circumstances. Now, let me be unequivocally clear on this point. This is absolutely not some form of magical thinking, where you simply utter a few positive words into the ether and expect that everything will miraculously fall perfectly into place without any effort on your part. No, life simply does not operate in that manner. However, your mindset is absolutely everything. The way in which you consistently talk to yourself will either empower you to persevere through challenges, learn from setbacks, and ultimately achieve your goals, or it will, conversely, cause those very same challenges to feel like insurmountable mountains that are simply too daunting and too overwhelming to even attempt to climb. If you begin your day by thinking to yourself, I am simply not good enough, I am incapable of accomplishing this task, or, this is inevitably going to be an absolutely horrible day filled with nothing but frustration and disappointment, then guess what will almost certainly happen? That is precisely how your day will unfold, playing out exactly according to your negative expectations. You will be effectively defeated before you have even begun to make an effort. On the other hand, when you consciously and deliberately choose to wake up each morning and tell yourself, I am fully prepared for whatever today may bring. I am confident in my ability to handle whatever challenges may come my way. You proactively set yourself up to face any and all challenges with unwavering confidence instead of succumbing to debilitating fear and self-doubt. It is very much like putting on a suit of protective armor before you go into battle, providing you with the strength, resilience, and confidence you need to withstand the inevitable attacks and setbacks that you will encounter. Those consciously chosen words, that deliberate mental preparation, will effectively fortify you and empower you to overcome whatever obstacles may stand in your path. And this process does not simply end with the simple act of speaking these words aloud or silently to yourself. You must genuinely and wholeheartedly believe them. 2. If you repeatedly say to yourself, "I am successful," but then you do not actually believe it deep down, your subconscious mind is very likely to reject the statement as being incongruent with your deeply held beliefs. It is absolutely essential to build a strong and unwavering bridge between the empowering words you consciously choose to speak and the purposeful actions you consistently take. If you are constantly and habitually speaking negativity into your life, your actions will inevitably reflect that negativity, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy of failure and disappointment. However, if you consciously choose to speak life, if you purposefully cultivate a mindset of positivity and optimism, your actions will naturally begin to align with that empowering mindset, and you will start making decisions from a place of strength, confidence, and unwavering self-belief instead of being driven by fear, doubt, and limiting beliefs. Speaking life into yourself also inherently means consciously acknowledging your own inherent worth and value as a human being. The world will constantly try to define you, to tell you who you are, what you are worth, and what you are or are not capable of achieving. But you must proactively and consciously reject those limiting labels and negative pronouncements. They do not have the right to define you or dictate your path in life. Your voice is the only one that truly matters when it comes to defining your own identity, your own potential, and your own ultimate destiny. Do not ever allow anyone or anything to steal that invaluable power away from you. When you consciously and deliberately speak life into yourself, you consistently remind yourself that you are so much more than your past mistakes, so much more than your previous failures, and so much more than the potentially negative or limiting opinions that others may hold about you. Ultimately, you are who you choose to be, and you have the power to create the life that you truly desire. So, every single morning, as soon as you open your eyes to greet the new day, take a deliberate moment to speak life over yourself, filling your mind with positivity and unwavering self-belief. Consciously tell yourself that you are strong, that you are capable, that you are worthy of success, that you are deserving of love, and that you are inherently worthy of experiencing happiness. It truly does not matter what the world says you are or are not capable of achieving. It does not matter what transpired yesterday, whether it was a success or a setback. What truly matters is what you choose to say to yourself today. Because your words, your thoughts, and your beliefs will inevitably set the course for everything that is to come. You possess the remarkable and transformative power to change your life for the better, to create a life filled with purpose, passion, and fulfillment. But it all begins with speaking life over yourself, consciously choosing to cultivate a mindset of positivity, self-belief, and unwavering determination. That is the foundational first step in creating a life that accurately reflects your true potential. A life that is aligned with your values, and a life that brings you genuine joy and satisfaction. The power to effectively shape your day does not lie in the external circumstances that surround you. Rather, it resides entirely within your own mindset. Your mindset serves as a filter through which you experience and interpret the world. And it has a direct and profound impact on how you perceive and respond to everything that comes your way, both positive and negative. From the very moment you awaken each morning, your mind is exceptionally open to influence, both positive and negative. And the very first thought that you consciously entertain or the first words that you intentionally speak to yourself can effectively set the tone for the entirety of your day. That is precisely why cultivating a positive and empowering mindset is so absolutely critical for achieving success, happiness, and overall well-being. If you wake up and immediately begin to dwell on all of the problems you are facing, all of the tasks that you did not manage to complete yesterday, or all of the potential reasons why today might prove to be exceptionally difficult, then you have effectively already lost the battle before it has even truly begun. However, if you consciously choose to proactively set your mind in the right direction, if you purposefully choose to seek out the inherent opportunities that lie within every challenge and to recognize the potential possibilities that exist within every perceived setback, then you have unequivocally given yourself the very best possible shot at having a truly great and fulfilling day. Your mindset is very much like the lens through which you view and interpret the world. If that lens is cracked, distorted, or clouded by negativity, then everything that you see and experience will inevitably be skewed and distorted. If you wake up with a predominantly negative mindset, then everything that subsequently happens throughout the day will likely seem like an insurmountable obstacle, a legitimate reason to complain, or something that is actively working against you to undermine your success and happiness. However, if your mindset is predominantly positive, optimistic, and sharply focused on your goals, then you will naturally begin to perceive things in a fundamentally different and far more empowering light. Challenges will be reframed as valuable learning experiences. Setbacks will be viewed as opportunities for growth and improvement, and seemingly intractable problems will be seen as intriguing puzzles just waiting to be solved with creativity and determination. The unvarnished truth is that life will invariably present you with its fair share of both ups and downs, periods of success and periods of disappointment. No one is ever completely exempt from experiencing the full spectrum of human emotions and challenges. However, how you ultimately choose to respond to those inevitable ups and downs depends entirely on the specific mindset that you consciously choose to cultivate and consistently maintain. The world is undeniably full of countless distractions, pervasive negativity, and a multitude of factors that are inherently beyond your direct control, such as the behavior of other people or the occurrence of unexpected events. However, despite all of these external forces, you always retain the power to control how you choose to react to them. That is the essence of the power of mindset. You may not be able to directly control external factors such as heavy traffic congestion, a particularly difficult conversation at work, or the emergence of unexpected challenges that disrupt your carefully laid plans. But you absolutely can control your own internal reaction to those external events. If you consciously choose to approach every situation with the unwavering mindset that you are fully capable of handling whatever comes your way, you will invariably discover a way to successfully navigate through it with resilience, resourcefulness, and unwavering confidence. However, if your underlying mindset is one of defeatism, if you consistently feel as though you are merely in survival mode, constantly struggling to stay afloat, then you will almost certainly miss the invaluable opportunities for personal growth and learning that are often hiding in plain sight amidst the apparent chaos and difficulty. Cultivating a positive and empowering mindset does not in any way mean that you should ignore reality or pretend that everything is always perfect and problem-free. Instead, it simply means consciously choosing to focus your attention and energy on those aspects of the situation that you can realistically control. Even if those aspects are limited, it means actively choosing to seek out the good in every situation, even when it is difficult to find, and consistently choosing to believe that things can and will eventually get better, even when the present circumstances seem bleak and discouraging. It is fundamentally about consciously shifting your focus away from the things that drain your energy and undermine your confidence and redirecting that energy toward the things that empower you, inspire you, and help you to move forward toward your goals. It is about being exceptionally intentional with how you choose to think and what you choose to believe about yourself, your capabilities, and the world around you. When you consciously train your mind to actively seek out solutions rather than dwelling on problems, when you purposefully approach each new day with the unwavering belief that you possess everything it takes to succeed in your endeavors, you will gradually but surely begin to cultivate a powerful mindset that propels you forward toward your goals, rather than one that holds you back due to fear, doubt, and limiting beliefs. What is truly remarkable and empowering about cultivating a positive and resilient mindset is that it is something that you can consciously work on and continuously improve every single day. You do not need to wait for a perfect day to arrive or for all of the external circumstances to perfectly align in your favor before you can begin to take control of your mindset. You can actively choose to consciously set your mind in the right direction from the very moment you open your eyes to greet the new day. And once you consistently do that, you will undoubtedly be amazed at how your overall perspective begins to gradually but noticeably shift. A mindset characterized by positivity, unwavering confidence, and sharp focus will effectively carry you through challenges, help you to remain highly motivated even when things become exceptionally difficult, and empower you to consistently see and believe in your own inherent potential, even when others around you may express their doubts or try to discourage you from pursuing your dreams. Your mindset is an incredibly powerful tool, and when you learn to consciously use it in the right way, there is virtually nothing that can prevent you from making today a truly great and fulfilling day. A day filled with purpose, passion, and meaningful progress toward your goals. You are already enough, right now, exactly as you are, in this very moment. It is far too easy to fall into the pervasive trap of thinking that you somehow need to be something more than you currently are. That you have to radically change some fundamental aspect of yourself before you are truly worthy of experiencing success, happiness, or love. But let me share something critically important with you. You do not need to wait for some distant and ill-defined moment in the future when everything in your life is finally perfect and aligned. You absolutely do not need to fundamentally change who you are as a person in order to prove your inherent worth to yourself or to anyone else. The simple and unvarnished truth is that you are already enough, right where you stand today. with all of your imperfections, quirks, and unique characteristics. Far too often, we allow the relentless pressures and unrealistic expectations of the world to convince us that we are somehow not good enough until we manage to meet some arbitrary and never-shifting external standard. Society constantly pushes us to conform to unrealistic ideals, urging us to be thinner, smarter, richer, more successful, and more perfectly flawless in every conceivable way. But that is simply a lie, a deceptive and ultimately harmful illusion. The inherent value of who you are as a person does not originate from meeting some externally imposed expectation or adhering to some arbitrary societal norm. Your true worth is intrinsic, deeply embedded within your heart, your soul, and your own unique and irreplaceable qualities. You were created with a specific purpose, and no amount of superficial comparison to others or harsh external judgment can ever take that profound and inherent worth away from you. When you consistently harbor the pervasive feeling that you are somehow not enough, you are essentially feeding yourself a steady diet of negativity, and that negativity gradually becomes the primary lens through which you perceive and interpret the world. It begins to negatively affect how you make decisions, how you interact with others, and even how you view your own inherent potential and capabilities. You may even begin to subconsciously believe that you do not truly deserve good things in your life, that you are somehow unworthy of experiencing genuine happiness, or that you must constantly work harder than everyone else around you simply to prove that you belong and that you are deserving of the same opportunities and privileges. But the empowering reality is that you do not have to earn your worth. It is already yours, freely and unconditionally. You have always been enough, and you will always be enough, simply because you exist and because you are uniquely you. Start consciously and deliberately accepting yourself exactly as you are, in this very moment, with all of your strengths and all of your imperfections. Deeply understand that your true value is not determined by your external achievements or by the often misguided perceptions of others. It is fundamentally rooted in the simple yet profound fact that you're a human being, with all of the inherent strengths, inevitable flaws, and everything else in between that makes you uniquely you. Consciously embrace who you are, in all of your authentic complexity, and stop striving to become some idealized version of yourself that you think you need to become in order to be worthy of love, success, and happiness. Refuse to let perfectionism dictate the terms of your happiness or define your self-worth. Perfection is nothing more than an elusive illusion, a constantly receding mirage that can never truly be attained. The genuine beauty of life lies not in the pursuit of some unattainable ideal of perfection, but rather in embracing your own authenticity, celebrating your unique qualities, and being unapologetically and authentically you, without reservation or apology. When you genuinely believe that you're enough, exactly as you are, you will naturally begin to show up in the world in a fundamentally different and far more empowered way. You will no longer feel the need to shrink in the face of challenges or allow fear to hold you back from pursuing exciting new opportunities. Instead, you will purposefully approach life with unwavering confidence, knowing that you already possess everything it takes to succeed, to thrive, and to make a meaningful contribution to the world. Your inherent worth does not depend on the external outcome of your efforts, rather, it depends on the simple and unassailable fact that you are already worthy of every good thing that life has to offer you. All too often, we needlessly carry the heavy weight of our past mistakes into our present, allowing those past failures to define who we are today, insidiously shaping our self-worth and even influencing our future decisions in negative and limiting ways. But the empowering truth is that your past does not have to be your permanent identity. It does not have to exert undue control over you, and it certainly does not have to limit your future potential. You are not the mistakes that you have inevitably made along the way, and you are certainly not the collection of failures that you may have experienced in the past. Those events were simply isolated moments in time, not the defining sum total of who you are as a person. You need to consciously and intentionally forgive yourself, not only for the specific mistakes that you have made, but also for all of the lingering guilt, corrosive shame, and persistent regret that you have needlessly held onto for far too long. It is exceptionally exhausting to constantly carry around the heavy baggage of past actions, long ago regrets, and missed opportunities. But when you consciously choose to forgive yourself, you are effectively setting yourself free from the chains of the past. Choosing to forgive yourself does not mean that you somehow erase what happened or pretend that you did not make the choices that you made. Nor does it mean that you should ignore the valuable lessons that you have undoubtedly learned from those past experiences. Rather, it means consciously accepting that you honestly did the best that you possibly could with the limited knowledge, resources, and emotional maturity that you possessed at that particular point in time. It means purposefully letting go of the relentless self-blame and the debilitating burden that has been weighing you down and preventing you from moving forward in a positive and productive way. We all inevitably mess up from time to time. We all experience moments in our lives where we sincerely wish that we could turn back the clock and make fundamentally different choices that would lead to more favorable outcomes. But obsessively dwelling on those past moments of regret only serves to keep you needlessly stuck in the past. It does absolutely nothing to change what has already occurred, and it prevents you from fully embracing the present moment and moving forward with hope and optimism toward a brighter future. The only true and effective way to genuinely grow as a person, to heal the lingering wounds of the past, and to unlock your full potential is to consciously choose to forgive yourself. To wholeheartedly release yourself from the suffocating grip of the past, and to freely give yourself permission to move on with your life and create a future that is aligned with your values and aspirations. When you consciously choose to forgive yourself, you are simultaneously creating ample space for personal growth, allowing yourself the opportunity to learn from your past mistakes and emerge as a wiser and more resilient individual. You are also creating room for self-compassion, extending kindness and understanding toward yourself. Rather than relentlessly engaging in self-criticism and harsh judgment, you actively stop being your own worst critic, and you begin to consciously cultivate the role of being your own biggest and most unwavering supporter. You become truly free to wholeheartedly pursue your goals, to confidently take calculated risks, and to genuinely believe in your own inherent ability to succeed, without being constantly held back by old emotional wounds, limiting beliefs, and the lingering fear of repeating past mistakes. Forgiveness is absolutely not a sign of weakness, rather, it is a powerful sign of strength, resilience, and emotional maturity. It is a conscious and deliberate decision to move forward with your life, to build a brighter and more fulfilling future for yourself, and to consciously show up in the world as the very best version of yourself, the person you were always truly meant to be. There is a dangerous and pervasive habit that we all possess to some degree, and it is called comparison. We currently live in a world that constantly bombards us with messages implying that we should strive to be more like someone else, constantly measuring ourselves against external and often unrealistic standards. These standards typically relate to aspects such as how we look physically, what we do professionally, how much money we earn, or where we happen to be in life relative to our peers. The ever-present influence of social media platforms only serves to fuel this harmful tendency toward comparison, constantly showing us carefully curated highlights of everyone else's seemingly perfect life, while we are often left comparing our own messy and imperfect behind-the-scenes reality to someone else's meticulously crafted public persona. But let me share something critically important with you. Comparison is the insidious thief of joy, and it is a subtle and deceptive trap that we all fall into far too easily. The fundamental problem with comparison is that it almost invariably leaves you feeling inadequate, lacking, and ultimately dissatisfied with your own life. You begin to focus your attention on someone else's apparent success, someone else's notable achievements, and instead of feeling inspired and motivated by their accomplishments, you find yourself feeling somehow less than, as though you are falling short of some unspoken standard. But the unvarnished truth is that you're on your own unique and individual path. Your journey through life is inherently unique to you, and directly comparing your progress to that of someone else will only serve to distort your own perception of where you currently are, where you are headed, and what you have already accomplished. Everyone's story is fundamentally different. People inevitably have different circumstances, different opportunities available to them, and different timelines for achieving their goals. What might superficially appear to you as an overnight success story actually took years of dedicated hard work, countless sacrifices, and a multitude of invaluable lessons learned along the way, all of which are often hidden from public view. When you constantly and habitually compare yourself to others, you inevitably lose sight of your own unique strengths, talents, and capabilities. You stop fully recognizing what makes you uniquely valuable, and you instead begin to measure your own inherent worth against someone else's constructed story. A story that is likely incomplete and heavily skewed. But no one else on this planet can offer the unique combination of skills, talents, experiences, and perspectives that you possess. You have your own individual set of strengths, a unique collection of talents, and a distinctly personal perspective on the world that no one else can ever perfectly replicate. You are already fully equipped with everything you need to be successful in your own right, on your own terms, and according to your own individual definition of success. Instead of engaging in the ultimately unproductive habit of comparing yourself to others, consciously choose to start celebrating your own progress, no matter how small or incremental it may seem. Intentionally focus your attention on how far you have already come on your journey, rather than obsessing over how much further you may still have to go to reach your ultimate destination. Consciously recognize and acknowledge the significant milestones you have achieved along the way, the invaluable lessons you have learned from your inevitable setbacks and challenges, and the remarkable strength, resilience, and wisdom you have consistently developed throughout your life's journey. It is undoubtedly easy to fall into the trap of fixating on what you currently lack or where you have not yet managed to reach in your ongoing journey towards success. But cultivating that type of scarcity-based mindset will only serve to keep you needlessly stuck in a state of dissatisfaction and prevent you from fully appreciating the abundance that already exists in your life. Consciously choose to begin shifting your perspective from one of scarcity in comparison to one of gratitude and appreciation. Purposefully appreciate where you are right now, in this very moment, with all of your imperfections, quirks, and the inevitable growth that is still yet to come. You do not need to be someone else in order to be worthy of love, success, and happiness. You simply need to consciously strive to be the very best version of yourself that you can possibly be. Embracing your own authenticity, celebrating your unique strengths, and continuously working toward your own personal goals. The only person you should ever truly compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday. And if today you were even just a little bit better, a little bit wiser, and a little bit stronger than you were yesterday, then you can rest assured that you are unequivocally moving in the right direction. Your unique journey is yours and yours alone to own, and that in itself is something truly extraordinary and well worth celebrating. Every single day, we inevitably face a multitude of challenges, various obstacles, and countless distractions that constantly try to pull us off course and prevent us from achieving our goals. Life is certainly not always easy, and it often feels as though the world is intentionally throwing everything it can at us in an effort to test our resilience and undermine our resolve. But here's the empowering truth: no matter how tough the day may become, no matter how overwhelming the challenges may seem, you always have a choice. You can consciously choose to embrace peace, cultivating a sense of inner calm and tranquility amidst the external chaos. It is a deliberate decision that you get to make for yourself, regardless of what is happening around you or what other people may be doing. Consciously choosing to cultivate inner peace does not in any way mean that you should ignore the external chaos or pretend that everything is perfectly okay when it is clearly not. Instead, it simply means deliberately deciding that, no matter what is going on in your external world, you will proactively choose to remain centered, grounded, and firmly rooted in your own values. You will consciously choose not to allow the external circumstances to dictate your internal emotional state or to steal your joy and prevent you from experiencing happiness. When life feels particularly overwhelming and the challenges seem insurmountable, the most important first step is to consciously take a deep breath and purposefully pause. We often become far too caught up in the relentless rush of daily life, the seemingly endless demands placed upon us, and the pervasive pressure to constantly do more, be more, and achieve more, often at the expense of our own well-being. The profound peace that you are seeking comes when you consciously slow down long enough to truly realize that you do not have to immediately react to absolutely everything that happens around you. Not every situation inherently requires your immediate and undivided attention, and not every problem urgently needs to be solved in the heat of the moment. Sometimes, cultivating inner peace is as simple as consciously stepping back from the situation, taking a deep breath to center yourself, and purposefully recognizing that you do not have to actively engage in every battle that comes your way. It is undeniably easy to allow stress and debilitating anxiety to take over, especially when things are not progressing according to your carefully laid plans or when unexpected challenges suddenly arise. However, when you consciously choose to cultivate inner peace, you are effectively choosing to consciously prevent those external factors from unduly dictating your internal world. You fundamentally cannot control external factors such as heavy traffic congestion, unexpected mistakes that others may make, or the unpredictable behavior of other people who may intentionally try to throw you off track or undermine your progress. However, you absolutely can control how you consciously choose to respond to those external events. And that is where your true power lies. Cultivating inner peace is fundamentally about consciously taking control of your own emotional state. Even when the world around you feels exceptionally chaotic and unpredictable, it is about consciously holding on to your sense of inner calm, centeredness, and equanimity, even when everything else around you seems to be spiraling out of control. Consciously choosing to embrace inner peace also inherently involves setting clear and firm boundaries in your life. Not absolutely everything and certainly not everyone automatically gets to have unlimited access to your valuable peace of mind. There will inevitably be times when you absolutely must proactively protect your own precious energy and consciously refuse to engage with negativity or harmful influences. Consciously step away from situations that drain your energy, undermine your confidence, or prevent you from experiencing joy. You are absolutely allowed to intentionally walk away from people or situations that consistently disrupt your inner peace. Whether those situations exist at work, in your personal relationships, or within the confines of your own mind, cultivating inner peace is not simply about achieving a sense of external calm and tranquility. It is also about purposefully guarding your inner space, consciously knowing what keeps you centered and grounded, and consistently ensuring that you do not allow unnecessary stress, debilitating anxiety, or other negative influences to take up undue residence in your life. In consciously choosing to cultivate inner peace, You are also inevitably creating ample space for enhanced clarity, improved focus, and more effective problem solving. When your mind is relatively calm, clear, and free from unnecessary distractions, you will naturally be able to think more clearly, make better informed decisions, and consciously respond to life's inevitable challenges with a level head and a sense of grounded perspective. It is about fully understanding that cultivating inner peace is not merely a luxury to be indulged in only when external circumstances conveniently allow. Rather, it is a fundamental necessity for your overall well-being, sustained success, and long-term happiness. Without it, you run the significant risk of living a life that is constantly on edge, perpetually reacting to external events instead of proactively moving forward with intentionality and purpose. When you consciously choose to embrace inner peace, you simultaneously make ample space for personal growth, emotional healing, and sustained progress toward your goals. It is a daily practice that requires consistent effort and unwavering commitment. A conscious decision that you get to make every single morning as you begin your day. And it is a powerful practice that can effectively carry you through whatever unforeseen challenges life may unexpectedly throw your way.